Thanks for the tip.
Good afternoon. Tonight is October the 12th. It's 5 o'clock, and we are opening up our agenda and our meeting for the Opioid Abatement Committee. I would ask for us to call to order the meeting. And if possible, Danny, would you do the invocation for us, please, sir?
Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We thank you for this beautiful weather that you've given us, Lord. I pray that you would continue to be with us, be with our county. Father, I pray that you would forgive us where we fail you, Lord, and where we fall short. I pray, Father, that you would continue to be with the people of Israel and the struggles that are going on there. Bring them peace, Lord, and be with them during this loss of life that they're having in this war. I pray that you be with them. Continue to be with our county and be with the business that we conduct here tonight, that it may be useful for bringing others closer to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I would ask for a motion to approval of the agenda.
Well, let's make a correction, adding an item 4A.
Yeah, I have to add item 4A, unfortunately. It would be, what do I say?
It doesn't matter.
Just, we're going to add additional topic under 4A.
Comments from Judge Blanton.
Comments from Judge Blanton.
And then ask for approval.
And then all approval from the board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Okay. We have recognition of the
No,
public.
we've got the minutes.
All right. Approval of the minutes for
So moved.
September 21st.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. I'll
Okay.
abstain.
Okay.
That's 4A.
Okay, now we're going to go for comments from Judge Blanton under 4A.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will let you know that I've been honored to serve and asked to serve on this committee. It became evident at our last meeting of September the 21st when there was several items discussed. One of those was recovery court and the possibility that recovery court of Sumner County could be a recipient of funds from this committee. Being a judge overseeing the recovery courts for my courts for both drug and DUI courts, I made an inquiry to the Board of Judicial Conduct to make sure there was not a conflict of interest or to get their opinion as to that. And it was brought to my attention that it would be in the best interest for me to resign from this committee because of the appearance of impropriety that it may create, and that's the last thing that I want to do for recovery court and for the citizens of this county who were kind enough to elect me to this position. I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize that or this committee's work, because this committee's work is very valuable to our county and to those who are in need of recovery. And so with that, I am submitting my resignation effective immediately on this committee due to the appearance of an impropriety.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
I'm sorry. I hate that.
Thank you, Judge.
Won't be the last time we see you, though.
I'm sorry.
Won't be the last time.
I understand. I'll be back.
Okay.
Maybe more than you want me to.
Oh, that's okay. So our next item on the agenda is number 5, which is recognition of the public. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to be recognized as in the public? Sir? Come forward up to the front, state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes.
Okay, my name is Dr. Wayne Smith, and I live at 100 LaGrange Drive in Hendersonville. Have been for 40-something years. And I am a retired pharmacist, 50 years of service. And I worked for 1 year doing sales and marketing for somebody, and then another year working for One Tennessee, which is sponsored by the Tennessee Department of Health, where we called on doctors and talked about opioid epidemic, that sort of thing. And for the last 3 years counting this year, I have been given addiction prevention speeches to Sumner County schools. The first year I did 16 speeches. Last year I did 131 presentations. This year I'm already 11 presentations ahead of what I did last year. So evidently I must be pretty good at it. And I am going to ask some questions probably tonight about the application process and things. I watched the video of the last meeting. I wasn't here. Those guys were here. I know those guys at the Prevention Alliance. But I will be making an application later. And I think I was told by Matthew Show
Yes.
that I was the very first person who inquired about this because I've kept up with it ever since the award was made. I even got an email from the Tennessee Pharmacy Association a couple of weeks ago, 2 pages of them telling everybody that's in the pharmacy profession how to go about applying for a grant. So my situation is unique. I don't get paid to do what I do, okay? I do it for free. I did it the last 2 years, and I'm doing it this year. I don't charge for it. I do it because it's my commission to do it. If I can save one kid, then I've been successful. But as I tell them, I'm greedy. I want to save everybody. So, as it stands, I have an unfortunate situation that started last year. My wife has a terminal disease, and she cannot be left alone. She has to have somebody with her. Last year, my daughter was able to assist me, and she would fill in for me from January through the end of the year. And now she has a full-time job, so she can't do that. So I'm going to be stuck paying home health $30 to $35 an hour to have somebody hang out with my wife while I'm gone. Last year, total time, driving and presenting, I spent about 300 hours. So, you know, you're approaching about 10 grand there. And it just doesn't feel fair to me to be paying out money out of my own pocket in order to do what I want to do. And I can get you testimonials from all the people that I've worked in the summer school system. But anyway, that's who I am, and that's why I'm at the meeting. And I'm going to sit in and hear some of the things you talk about for the application and that sort of thing. Well, one question I would have is, as an individual, do I need to have a business license in order to apply for a small grant? I don't know. But you see, that's kind of why I'm here, is to find out how the process is going to move forward. And I realize that it's not a fast process. You guys are probably going to be working through this for the next several months. And school is out in May, so it may not even affect me this year. But I'm 76 years old. I'm old, but I ain't dead. I'm still moving, okay? I'm on the go all the time. And so it's something that's inherently important to me. And it is to these guys over here too. These are good people. I mean, I'm a member of the association. It's just, if you want to, you can give them the money and they can pass it on to me. I'm not a greedy man. You see what I'm saying? I should have got into politics and worked for the government years ago, but I was too busy filling prescriptions, so I didn't have time.
I think you went the better route.
It was a good career. The first 20 years I was in retail pharmacy. Finally, I gave that up. I had a medicine shop franchise, which is an apothecary. We didn't sell greeting cards and beer. We sold prescriptions. But I got guns pointed at me all the time. People stealing my drugs. I got tired of that. I didn't want to do it anymore. So the next 20 years, I got into doing nursing homes. We started a little pharmacy in Hendersonville, Tennessee called TriMed Pharmacy Services. Over the next 20 years, we increased that to be the largest independent pharmacy in the state. We furnished prescriptions to 7,500 nursing home residents from Memphis to Bristol, the entire state, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. But it was worth a lot of money, so the stockholders, they outvoted me and we sold it. So then I had to figure out something else to do. Well, for the next 10 years, I did 2 things. We serviced adolescent mental health facilities, which is young people, and not just from Tennessee. I bill Medicaid in 22 different states where they send kids here. Youth Villages was my largest customer. I did all the adolescent facilities for the state of Tennessee, where the juvenile offenders, where they got in trouble. They sold that eventually and turned it over to somebody else, but when I was there, I had a contract with the state of Tennessee. But in addition to that, we did addiction treatment facilities across Tennessee. Almost all the big ones, except for Cumberland Heights. That was the only one I never got, but all the rest of them just about I had. So I have a unique perspective when it comes to dealing with young people and addiction. And we're not talking about just drugs. We're talking about vaping, we're talking cigarettes, we're talking alcohol. And as I understood watching the last video, you all are not gonna just focus just on opioids, I think is what was said. You want to, I have 8 different presentations that I do. So that's my spiel. And when you get to the application process, I'll be first in line to try to apply, okay? Just to let you know. But don't forget, this old boy's out there, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay. Anyone else like to speak? Well, that concludes our recognition of the public. Report of the chairman. Well, there's a lot of things I could report on because there's a lot going on with this, and it's all kind of running together. I'll be very honest with you. I'm a learner. I'm learning as you go. You all learn, but I do think that by going through the discussion of the old business and the new business that we will have, that we may be able to work through some of the confusion. Yes, is a good word. But that's my report. Is I'm just as mixed up and confused as y'all are, okay? So, anyway, okay. So, old business. Discussion submission process of the website. So, we talked about this last meeting, and I can't remember your first name, sorry. Robert?
Robert, yes ma'am.
Robert, our IT director, had sent out a email, and it showed a link to a website that he had developed, right?
Yeah, it's in staging, we haven't pushed it.
You haven't
live.
pushed it out yet. And it was fantastic because it had, what I was looking at as a provider myself, was it had the application process, but it also didn't just stop there. It had information about if you are in trouble, you need your suicide awareness, things like that. That was there. Mental health was there. And I thought that was a great thing to do. And so I wanted him to talk about what he's done and the work he's done and the submission process and how we're going to do that. So I'd like to first, if everyone's in agreement, to look at the website and kind of go through it, and then we can discuss it. I have a motion to do that. I don't know if I have to do that.
Suspend the rules as someone.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
For the process, that would be your landing page. It's kind of short and sweet. All your information will be here for you. All your correct numbers that you would need. For anyone inquiring about this, would all be here as well. We've also included the approved recommendation list from the state of Tennessee for our applicants to apply. All this we would certainly want Mr. Sittler to look over as far as from a legal standpoint, and we certainly want you guys to look over and see if there's any changes that need to be made, or if you see something that maybe we've missed, because I mean, as you know, we're IT, we're not in this business.
Yeah.
We're going to present it and give it to you. We just don't know what all you guys may want in there. We've also put the link to this. Oh, well, that wasn't the right one. We've also included this link for any information from the state that's out there about the opioid that you guys will be representing for the community. And we've also created an early stage of the funding request documentation that you guys would want to be submitted and approved. We touched on quite a bit. I'm not sure everything that needs to be in there. We borrowed kind of heavily from Rutherford County. They already have a process and it works for them, so I'm going to say this is pretty similar. And I'm not sure what would need to be changed. Of course, we want Mr. Sittler to look over that from a legal standpoint. We would also want you guys to read through it to make sure that we are not missing anything from those forms that may represent our county, because you know Rutherford could be a little different than what Sumner is. Did you guys have a chance to look over any of this in your email?
I did.
This particular email group here, that's not created yet. I just went with Sumner County Opioid Board. You guys can choose whatever you would like to use there. That's what that was short for. If that's what you want to go with, we can create that. That's not a problem. Yeah. Well,
Not SCAD.
Rutherford is ROB, and we certainly don't want to use SOB for Sumner. I put that C in there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know we'd be
You may
representing.
get some different emails if you just put SOB.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sometimes we get some bad rep from media, so we don't want to add to it.
No. Okay.
But that's kind of it in a nutshell. We definitely want to hear your guys' input. We want to run this through legal, make sure we're hitting all the points for them from that standpoint, and certainly get this out there for you guys to get this rolling. I know the public's got demand for it, so we want to hit that as soon as possible.
Do you have, for the county, since the county runs like drug court and some of the entities that are in the county, is there a way, he's already gone, no, the judge is gone. I was wondering if there was something that, might just on the other page where we could have something about drug court, they have graduations, just things that people can see that are supportive of what you can do to get off of opioids or alcohol or whatever.
Absolutely. Do they have a website we could reference or maybe link it?
Yes, they do.
They
Okay.
do?
Yeah.
Okay.
We
That
can
would
reach
be-
out and ask for, of course, we'd have to ask for permission, but I don't think they would have a problem with it.
Yeah, because there'll be a lot of partners, I think, in all of this. And anything we can educate through this to the public, I think is going to be beneficial, even for
Absolutely.
kids and parents and all that.
Do they have videos and so forth of their graduations?
I think they do. I know they had,
What was the question, I'm sorry?
does Recovery Court have videos of their graduation? I don't know if I'd want my picture on there if I was
We have
graduating.
still
You're
photos.
you're crossing some recovery boundaries by
Yeah.
doing that, so I would say no.
Identity.
And I would even go so far as to, if you want to put this on the, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, I would go so far as to put links of interest and make it as generic as possible
Yeah.
to get to these other links versus some sort of quasi endorsement of the program.
Right.
Because this is just about you all dispersing funds to people that are
Probably a good idea.
approved.
Yeah, that's true.
And plus too, if you get to, like you were saying, endorsing one, then you have Prevention Coalition, then you have
All those.
CASA, and then you have this one, and then if we leave somebody out, then we go back to the bad publicity, we should have just put SOB as our email address. So I think less would be more, I mean, I like the idea and I appreciate the idea, but I think less would be better.
Well, if it's gonna put us in a trap,
Yeah.
I think that okay.
I like the idea, I just don't think we could satisfy everybody.
No, not really. Okay. Well, and so you're kinda in the phase of developing, and then we'll get with the final is that legal will look it over
Yes, ma'am.
once we approve.
And make sure that, like I said, read over everything
Information.
you got done, see if there's changes you guys would want to make. Or as far as, I don't know if you get to see, I know your judge has resigned today, you may ask for one to read over it as far as from their standpoint to make sure it's hitting all the spots for our drug recovery court here, so.
And that is referencing boards, so y'all are gonna have to decide, do you want board members indicated on here, names, do you want links, do you want email addresses? Do you wanna create a point of contact?
I would like one, and I'm just gonna discuss this with y'all. I was thinking that if we put all of our emails in there, everyone will be getting separate emails about requests. And I feel like that should be just one place. If you have questions, you know, that would be like a question section, maybe, or,
Could you just do have contact board members at this address, and then the SCOV, and then it goes to everybody?
yeah.
That would be, and you can list board members' names, can be contacted here, or all board members can be contacted here.
Yeah, but if you're, but a disclaimer that if you are wanting to fill out an application, go to this site.
Well, that's the funding settlement, or you would have a funding request that's under that.
And that's what I'm getting at here, because I think that comes up on the agenda as a
does.
coordinator, is that may be a point where you put maybe the names of the board members,
Right.
but any contact or hyperlinks would be to your coordinator, whoever you
Right.
decide on that, and to contact them. If you do decide to go to a generic email that hits all of you all, I would discourage that only because I know in my office, we end up duplicating work effort because no one knows the other one's taking care of something. And so we eliminated that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you might want to consider that.
But if you wanted to keep a generic email, to keep the emails, keep in touch, we could always move that over like we've done for the county commissioners. Where it's a one-stop shop where somebody can just click the link and reach all of you. And then we could also add the point of contact for submissions, so forth, separately on the side as well.
Coordinator?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And put them by name if that's what you choose.
That would be better, because I'm concerned that everybody will be getting all these emails about things, and then, like he said, and Daryl and Commissioner Rogers said, you know, there'll be so much fractured information that something might get lost.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Well, and that's why I say it's still a work in progress.
Sure.
We want to get y'all's input, see how we want to go forward.
Okay.
But if we do move that over to the right, we would definitely want to put the coordinator first, because over 90% of people is just going to see what's first on the right. So
Right.
we want to hit the first
Yeah.
email, that we would certainly want that to be the
I
coordinator.
have a question. Where it says contact the Tennessee Red Line by calling or texting, who are they texting?
We haven't put that part in there yet.
Oh,
It's
Okay.
we're still waiting to get some information about that.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. And again, this is still staged, it's not public, so we're not going to release it until it's complete. Yeah, some of what we looked at in Rutherford County, they did not have everything filled out fully. So like I said, we've copied a lot from them, but we're trying to fill in the blanks of what they were lacking.
And we can always add, if we feel there's something else that we need to add to the website, we can do that later.
Absolutely. We can always change anything you
If we
want.
agree on it as a
Right.
committee.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, things change, you know, things about the funding could change, so we can always update the webpage,
Right.
you know, daily.
Okay.
Can I ask, do we have a timeline? I mean, I understand it's going through all these steps. Do we have a timeline, a target? timeline?
Not yet, we have to go through the process, approve the process before he
So we
can,
hope to be through it.
I hope by the end of the month,
That's all I was asking.
could be.
I can have the legal end of this tied up by the end of the month. I would just ask that whoever's gonna read it, just reach out to me if you've got any legal questions about what you're coming across, and we can knock it all out
Okay.
together.
That's a good idea. I think as a team, we're gonna need to do that together, because, you know, just me reading it, you reading it, you know, by ourselves, we need as a team to come together. And I think if you see a legal question, I'd say maybe copy everybody on it to Eric. That way we all don't duplicate the same question and we're on the same page. And then maybe by the end, our next meeting, we'll have it wrapped up. And he could at least answer those and we could be ready to roll. We all,
Yeah,
yep, shaking your heads.
yes.
Okay, all right.
Sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
I'll leave this up, we're gonna leave this computer here, so after your meeting, if anybody wants to look over it, you're more than welcome to, see if there's anything.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks, Carly.
Appreciate you.
You can leave that up too if you want to.
No, I don't do that. I promise you, you'll get bored reading all that.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you.
Thanks, man, appreciate it.
So, on the other end of that, because it was submission process / and/or website, in the submission process, we need to decide, you know, are we, for example, I'm Mary Janone Drug Court, and I want to submit requests for money, which is what they're gonna do. Are we comfortable just saying you need to go to that website and that's where you will fill out the application? And then it will be reviewed and then moved forward to budget? Does that sound like a process that we as a board?
Well, would it have to come here for the, can it go straight to budget, or does it need to
No,
come
we
here
would
for an
need to
allocation?
review the application and then we would talk about it and then send it on forward. That was what our agreements were before.
Yeah.
Is your question, can we make this website exclusive, or do we have to take them as they come in the door
Yeah, that's
as
fine.
well? Is that what
I
you're
would-
asking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's a good question. I'll have to
Yeah.
research that. I almost think, I'm thinking you can't, and there's gonna have to be some drop-off mechanism here at the county building. So, and that obviously would just be us forwarding it to you all for the next committee meeting to review, or whatever, or coordinator would get it, or something
Right.
along those lines.
So will there be a link where they can fill it out online or physically bring it in? Is
I
it-
don't think you'd want to advertise that you can bring it in, but you would put on there, please, to complete your packet, please go to this site, you fill it out. If somebody happens to bring one in, you still have to take it and process it. It's just understand that there's going to be more than one way it's going to hit the door.
Yeah.
So my question would be, if you fill it out online, like you do a e-sign, would you fill that out online, be able to fill it out online? He's already left. Fill it out online and then sign it, and then it would be submitted electronically to the coordinator
Right.
instead of paperwork
That
flying.
would be
That's
ideal.
Yeah.
That is doable, I know that.
Okay, that would be more
Mhm.
expedient, I guess, and less paper.
We'd have to get a coordinator in place before we
Yeah,
even open all
absolutely.
this up.
Yeah, but that's a process I was wondering if we could put in place.
That, how long is it gonna take to get that in place?
Rutherford County's is not an online application. It's a packet and it says you gotta submit all this with your checklist to whatever your email address is. And you submit it that way. It's not
Scan
like,
it.
yeah, it's not
Scan
like
it,
a,
so.
And you can get away
Click
with
through
that
or
option.
whatever.
I just don't think you can go the opposite
And do
direction.
one.
You could make it where it's, you come to you pick up a packet, you fill it out, you drop it back off here. You can do that. You can't do the alternative,
Right.
which is everything's gotta be online.
Because if there's an outage or they don't have a way to
Exactly.
Yeah.
do that, it's kind of like saying everybody has to get their information off Facebook, but not everybody's on Facebook.
And I think y'all keep coming back to the same impasse on all of this, which is a coordinator.
Right, so I think with that, if you're all in agreement, we'll kind of look at it again, add it to old business again on our next meeting, and hopefully we can get this coordinator approved and work through that process. Do I hear a motion to do that? Do I need to make?
I think you can just leave it where it's at,
Yeah,
I think.
okay. There's a paperwork in here, opioid board scoring select for funding. There's a scoring process, which I think is probably a good thing. And then of course, the application for the process is in here. There's an application in here. And then, again, with the coordinator, we'll be able to differentiate what's important and not. I think we're at a little bit of an impasse right here with this because we don't have a coordinator.
right.
So,
Chairman, if I could, and I'm not trying to rush or run your committee, old business probably could stay as old business
yeah,
until we get that coordinator and we make decisions, health and safety, or health surveying goals coalition. I mean, that's gonna be back in the coordinator spot, statistics back in the coordinator spot.
right. So save time, we could review
We
it
could probably go to
again.
the appointments under new business and review the job description and then on through. Again, I'm not trying to run your
No, I
committee, I'm
understand.
just thinking that we're just gonna be stuck, for lack of better words, to do anything with what we've got on the agenda.
If I could just ask, so we have this score sheet, and we are going to be discussing the job description and proceeding forward. My question would be, while we're looking at this, I mean, this is a sample. I'm assuming, I'm just asking, I'm assuming we're going to expect the coordinator to do all of this work. I just want to verify with everybody for
That's what I'm
clarification.
thinking, yeah.
Yes.
Depends on how we want the job
Yeah.
description.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's in the job
yes,
description.
because it's, yeah,
And statistics and numbers is in there, but I think other duties as assigned fall in there.
Yeah, to review the package.
yeah,
I mean,
and
it's-
there's a lot of analysis and all that goes
Right.
in this. So
Excellent.
I think the coordinator at least has to have a skill set for that too, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, yeah, I agree with you, Daryl, I think that's a good idea, so that we don't, you know,
We're just stuck in a rut,
we're in
really.
a little bit of a spin right here,
Right.
so in order to do that, I would make a motion that we keep the old business on as it is, move it to in 2 weeks, and then move on to new business. Do I hear a motion?
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So let's go to new business. We need to appoint a secretary. Anybody have a
Chairman,
dire?
is this something we can pay for?
Yes.
Pay the clerk's office
Yes.
clerk out of this
So,
opioid
yes.
abatement money?
Out of the unrestricted funds, right?
Have we reached out to them to see if that's something they're interested in?
Is it, if our coordinator is an exempt employee, can they not come and take our minutes? They're gonna need to know what goes on anyways.
I
Or
don't-
they'll be participating in the meeting.
Yes. I think that would be a distraction. Yeah.
Got it.
Double requirement there. I would rather have them focused and not worry
So
about
we
minutes.
would, so if we have folks in the county, in the offices that can be secretarial, I'm all in favor of that, to pay, even pay them, you know, out of the opioid funds.
Yeah.
But if they say, heck no, we got all these committees going on and we don't have time, then we're gonna have to find somebody to do it. How do you hire somebody just as needed, PRN, and pay them by the hour, or how would you do that?
So I would, so I would like to see, to make it worthwhile, offer it up to the county employees, just as you stated, that would be able to do that out of the clerk's office, or somebody that's familiar with the minutes and the minute structure.
Right.
And they'd be paid at 1.5 times their hourly county rate. And that's my motion.
Second.
If I could interject, currently they're paid $100 a meeting.
But I made the motion that they be paid 1.5 times
So
their
we're gonna
county rate
change and have a different,
For this.
for this committee.
so it would be significantly less, that's all I was pointing out.
It would be less?
Yeah, it'd be a lot
Yeah, it would be
less.
A lot less.
I know it has
Significantly.
60, it's $100 and sometimes
That's all
more
I'm
depending
saying.
on how long the meeting goes.
True.
I don't have any reason not to pay them $100 to come
Well,
here.
that's what I started to say, but if we're sitting here 2.5 and 3 hours,
Don't be putting that up.
I know, right?
That's not gonna
So I'll amend my motion then and make it $100 for a meeting, for a call meeting.
And offer it to the county employees, if they would like to do that.
Correct.
Okay. You made a motion, Danny.
No, Daryl made a motion
You
and.
seconded
Dylan
it?
seconded.
Okay.
Fine with that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I think if we come back and that's still not enough, maybe we look at.
Yeah,
that a little bit
because
more.
they will be committing to 2 nights a month,
Right.
so,
Yeah, we could negotiate.
yeah.
Sure enough.
Is there any trouble with that, Eric?
I don't want to mess up a motion you just passed, but
We can always reconsider.
I
Yeah.
think the better way to state that would be to take on the secretary at the current established rate paid for committee meetings, because I do know, we had a 7-hour meeting the other day, so these things can run on, and there are provisions, finance has told me there's provisions where I can submit a memo to ensure that the individual's getting
Salaries, that's
compensated
awesome.
beyond that $100. So if we're sticking with the county plan, then that gives us some working room.
So, can I have a motion to reconsider?
Reconsider.
So I would make my original motion, or excuse me, my amended motion to reflect what the law director said.
Right.
Madam Secretary, did you reflect this? Can you get that in the minutes? We'll watch the video. Okay.
I have a second.
So-
We got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good job, okay. All right, so our next order of business is review of job description for the coordinator. Did all of you have a chance to review the job description?
Yes.
I didn't have any struggles with it. Any, right?
I think the main thing, if I can, I'm sorry, I'm just running off the mouth, is to make sure that where this falls is okay with the directors that we have. I mean, legal's already probably full force, if you will. Finance is gonna be full force. I'm just thinking at the top, it just says description of the conduct, and then I think I read in here somewhere,
I would like to see
That
this
they-
person under the finance department.
that's,
because
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm just thinking that would be a good home.
most appropriate
Yeah.
because of the money.
I think that's where most of the questions are gonna end up being
Absolutely.
about, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
We expected.
It's always best when it's expected.
I do, under this job description, this person, we were talking about, and David had sent me an email that perhaps part of their job would be to help write grants or look at grants in the grant department. Because that's important. I mean, this is gonna go on for years and, you know, I got news for you. I'm not gonna be around that long.
Mary, that
I'll
sounds
be
good.
cruising and bruising all over the world, let me tell you. So I want to say that I do believe that this person should have we have to take Hamilton County government out of there and all that and clean up this job description. But I do think grant writing and grant review is an important part of it. Perhaps half the time, because in talking with finance, they felt that part of the coordinator of the opioid abatement would be mostly a part-time part.
Okay.
This is what I'm hearing. And then the other half would be more into the grant writing, or it could be 80-20, you know, but that's where their feelers are. I think that, I'm not saying I think they should delegate based on what they need for financing and delegating of funds and all that, how they manage that, because they're gonna be underfinanced, so he's gonna drive that train, I think. I don't wanna micromanage what they do with them.
Well, they're gonna be, I think, much more busy on the front end
Right.
on this. And then as time goes on, I think it's gonna be important to have some description of what how their time is spent. So that's not created on the whim once we get to that point, because it will slow down. I think
Right.
it'll be more like a 50-50
Automatic.
year.
I think you're right, Danny.
Yeah.
And that's what we were thinking, right? So, the job description definitely needs to be cleaned up, because there's, Hamilton County is in here. You just-
I've
yeah.
cleaned it up, yeah.
Okay, and so, I don't think a job description should be too constricted, because you need to have a little bit of a wiggle room in there whenever you create a job description. So, as it reads, I didn't have any concern. Terry, did you have a question?
I just thought that we should settle on a range.
Salary range.
Well, that,
The only, sorry,
No, no.
but this may factor into this. I noticed this one is in person. Is that like definitely what we're doing, or is this a possible work from home thing? Because I know
In person, yeah.
it just may depend on who you get. There's
I
some
don't
people
think it
that
would
are.
be possible to have them work from home. If
Okay.
they're
And it may not be.
if
I just
they're
don't
falling
wanna
Within the finance department.
Fly through this and be like, oh, they could have worked from home, and we could have gotten somebody else.
are we dead set on the master's degree
That's-
No.
and the 5 years of direct work-related experience? Because I think that's gonna depend on
What you get.
what you get and how much you pay, and I think it's really
Right.
gonna limit your candidate pool.
I
They
think
need
it
to
could,
understand grant accounting.
Yeah.
Yeah, or preferred, or, you know, that you can write or preferred, or minimum of a bachelor degree in finance or accounting or whatever. I say we'd add that, a minimum. And how many years?
Bachelor's, not master's though, correct?
A minimum of a bachelor's. And then years' experience in your world is, in your opinion, ma'am, would be what, 2 years, 3 years? 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 should be
2 to 3
sufficient.
years.
A minimum.
A minimum, okay.
So you're gonna do at least 3 years? Take the higher end of the 2 to 3?
What if it's 2.5 and they're really good? Just saying.
You
You know how
will
you
have-
guys are.
If
You're
I
like,
You
throw a
would have
horseshoe and
people,
it
you'll have
leans, it's not a
people
ringer.
apply though that don't
Yes,
meet those minimums.
those
So
people will
you'll get
still
them that
apply.
apply with 1 year, 2 years.
Yeah.
None.
okay. And then, yeah, physical awareness, and then anything else, y'all? Terry brought up the salary range,
Do we need to write this as a 80-20 first, Eric, and then go back and modify? And then with the employee knowing that it's gonna be a difference? Because, and the only reason why I ask that question is, and I may be too far off in the weeds, are we pulling 80% of money from opioid abatement and then 20% from county general fund? Or how, and I may be totally off in the weeds, but how does that work? And if it's opioid abatement money, do we only approve the opioid abatement money here and then the county budget approves that 20% that we're splitting? Or does all of it have to go to budget to approve the new position?
That's gonna be a David question, because he's gonna be running the lines. If I were to make a guess, and that's all this is, the allocation, it'll be a percentage allocation, and he'll probably pull whatever percentage he needs to from the opioid line, and any county unrelated to opioid would be offset by a pay lines for that. I'm guessing.
He's
that's-
already started looking at it. I've had that discussion, I don't wanna speak for him, but I think it's all, he's
What?
worked through it.
so is he looking at the,
Well, that's good, but I don't know how it works.
Well, I mean, when he comes next time, he can explain to us how we're gonna budget.
next week, but we need to
We still need
agree.
the person, we'll figure out the revenue stream.
Yeah, so if we agree with the job description that is, it is, in, you know, okay, so job descriptions are, when you hire somebody, this is what your gig is. And so you go through and you show, but then you may want a statement that this doesn't include, this isn't inclusive, you know what I mean? You may be asked to do something else, you know, so you're not locked in. Other duties
That's
as
what I was,
assigned.
that
Yeah.
little
So it's-
slogan needs to be in there.
You've got it under task, performs other related duties as assigned, but that's very vague and minimal.
And that's
you
okay.
know?
Yeah, so that you're not locked in. you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's how they get you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
You've been a principal, you know.
okay, so are you guys comfortable with what you see other than the cleaning up of the language and such? Do I hear a motion to approve the job description with the corrections?
Motion to approve with the corrections.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Alright. So would the plan be to come back next time and kind of look at a final copy of this and
Right.
make any changes?
Right,
Figure out the salary and, because I think this is, what we did talked about last time, this has got to be priority number one, I think,
Right.
before we.
we can do more.
Mhm.
I agree with you. So essentially, like you said, we'll bring it back after it's been cleaned up, language been set, bring it back, review it, approve it, salary approval, and then, because tonight we need to vote on appointing a coordinator. We need to make a point that we want to appoint a coordinator.
So would it
Does that
be
make
a-
sense?
Would it be sorry, go ahead.
Mike,
On the range, but I had a new line of question on that.
No,
If
one
we
question
can-
at a time.
I know, one
One
question at a time.
question.
I would like to, and I don't know, do we have an amendment on the floor, or do we have a, I would like to propose
A
that.
motion? You wanna make a motion to discuss?
I'd like to ask finance
Okay.
if they would be able to come back with a job range for this type of job next time, based on your experience. 'Cause
A salary range?
A salary range, yes.
It's good.
Instead of us trying to determine, if you could, next time when you come back with a clean copy, as well as a salary range for us. And perhaps how we would market it, or how you would anticipate we could market it, and if that was gonna, if we need to dedicate some funds to recruitment, or however you do that, if you could address that.
I know we can advertise through the Tennessee Government Finance Officers Association. And since this is finance related, that'd probably be a good place to start.
So you're asking her to bring that back to the next meeting and when we decide on approving it? Because it will have to go to budget.
I'd also like to see the funding path.
Yeah, right,
I mean, I
so,
know, but if we're saying that this, and I think this may be something, I mean, we may have to reconsider the whole job description, or we can clean it up next month. Do we want the person that we're looking at to know that it's gonna be an 80-20? Because I know at the college, we do an 80-20. You know, you're 80% student activities, and then you're 20% advising, or whatever. Is that something we wanna put in here, so they know that they may have, and I know it says other duties is required, and that's
yeah, I
everybody's
think that's
book.
gonna be kind of, an understood
It'll be
thing.
difficult to do.
I know, that's what,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Especially with it being a new position.
right.
It'll be difficult to
Because the other
say
duties,
you're gonna work 1 hour a day on
To do,
finance.
right.
and-
yeah.
Right.
So I think
Okay,
probably
that's
other
fine.
duties would probably manage it, and then if it has to be revised, then it would have to come back.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
So did this get approved to modify to bring back as old business? Is that what I'm understanding? Okay.
Okay.
And now you're
So,
wanting to appoint a coordinator.
I'm sorry?
And so now you're wanting to appoint a
Yeah, that's our next order of business is appointment of a coordinator. So we have to agree that we want to appoint a coordinator.
Amen. Motion.
Motion to.
I'll
Do I hear a
second that.
Are we all in favor?
Yes.
Yes,
Aye.
immediately? So that's,
You didn't want to do it, did you?
No.
yeah, I mean, you would have to pay me $200,000 to do this.
Who made the
An
motion?
hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't say that too loud.
An hour.
Who made the motion?
Dylan made
I
a
did.
motion.
Dylan made it. Who seconded?
boy.
Terry.
Okay.
And we all said yes.
All right, good deal.
So who is the coordinator?
We have to hire one. We have to hire one.
It's the first person that asks who it is.
Good job, Daryl. Now you're 80-20.
Another salary?
So that your question is good, because it's the finance department will be looking in, like she said, will be advertising for that coordinator's position, which is in the job description. But we have to come up with a salary range before she can advertise.
So I was
She's
confused.
gonna come back with a,
Right.
Yeah, we'll
Market.
come back to
Right.
this for that.
So if we have that at the next meeting, the range, the description, the job description, then we can start marketing and maybe have somebody by the first of the year start,
first of the year, I was hoping for mid-November.
hey, I like it.
Yeah.
People need
I was
jobs for
I was
Christmas.
gonna ask, in your world, like, how
Yeah.
quickly do these things, do people bite on them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I know in my world, it's dead right now when you try to hire any.
The last few positions we've had open, which, the top position, the lower level positions, we normally advertise on Indeed, but within 4 days, I'm stopping receiving anything.
Okay.
Because
Wow.
we've received 100+ resumes in 4 days.
Like it.
Is this part-time or full-time?
Full-time.
Full-time, like with county benefits? Right?
Mhm.
I mean, can we do that? Is that a thing?
I mean, it's a county, it's
What do
a
you mean?
county
It's a
position,
position.
It is?
right?
Okay, that's what I didn't know if it reported just to us, just was housed under
That's,
that, or,
that's what I was getting at, so we're going, so I get,
I know this is.
I'm off in the
confused.
weeds again, but, so, Now that we've agreed to appoint this, does it go to legislative, legislative takes it to budget? Because we're essentially adding a new employee to the county,
That's correct.
but it'll be paid out of opioid abatement.
That's correct.
I don't see any way this avoids budget at a minimum.
Right.
My question would be, do we send it with our preliminary discussion here, or do we wait till after next time when we have a more solid product?
More solid.
More
Right,
solid.
that's what I'm thinking too, okay, just clarification.
I
So
don't
it'll probably
want-
be December before.
They'll kick
goes
it
to
back
budget.
if it's
There's
not.
a year.
They'll kick it back if it's not.
Have a report on the budget meeting Monday, that just heads up, this is
Almost done.
what we're looking at.
I see what you're saying, to get it to move quicker.
Well, just so, no surprises. This is our plan.
I can give a report on budget, I can add it to the agenda and, because the agenda's out, and just a report
Right.
without asking for a vote.
So, repeat, okay. I just had a TIA here.
So what did you say about going to budgetary? Sorry.
Beth was just wanting us to inform them that it was coming, because this is all a new thing.
Yeah.
So they'll know that,
Give
although
it
we
time.
don't have a number, we're adding an employee.
And their salary and their benefits will come out of opioid abatement money, the non-restricted, right?
That was my next
Yes.
question. Does the benefits package also come from opioid money?
Yeah, have to, I think.
Not necessarily, remember, it's not 100% opioid though, so that's
No.
what's gonna make them a more, so a
I think
county
when we
employee.
go,
Oh,
before
I
we,
see.
I think
What is it?
we shouldn't go parsing it out just yet.
Parsing what out?
We have
The
to.
benefits and stuff, without looking at it from accounting standpoint, and without talking to.
Well, and
finance
that's
director.
why budget's gonna have to look at it, because that's exactly where David's gonna jump into all of that.
I think it's just like health and emergency services, conceptual idea needs to start here, at least of what we're expecting
Because we're
from
making the
budget.
recommendation.
Right.
Yeah, he can't research if he doesn't know what it is you want.
Right.
So we have to have a coordinator. It doesn't matter if they're full-time or 30%, we have to have them. If the county's not picking it up, or if we're not picking it up 100%, we still have to have that coordinator. So I think it's gonna go, I think we're gonna pay for it 100%, because we have to have it. I mean, we can't depend on the county to pick up the 70% or the 20% or whatever, because we have to have this person.
And it may be one of those things where David looks at it and it can be adjusted year to year based on what we have coming in, what funding we have coming in, and how that changes, and that may change from year to year.
And I don't think there's anything strictly in the grant that we have to parse out how we're using that employee in other areas, if they're picking up the phone or doing other non-opioid requirements. But we have to have that person.
I agree, and I'm not pushing back on the person. I'm just saying budget needs to know, hey, we're expecting you to pay
That's what-
100%, or we're expecting you to pay 20%, or we're expecting you to pay 50/50, or that's what I was trying to get to
Yeah,
I think
earlier.
David's expecting to, in the long
Yeah.
run, to be a 50/50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Starting it for the
Um,
first 6 months or so, no, but.
But the other thing, and you both have more experience than maybe us, is this position. I mean, although this money is for 18 years, it might dry up sooner. This person needs
It
to
will.
know that when this dries up, their job's gone.
That,
So that is a
If you-
person, a piece of this.
That, or do you?
I mean, it is,
Unless the
right?
county
No.
agrees to continue
No,
funding.
because-
That's what I was about to say.
Or do
Well,
they
and if they're-
continue in accounting?
Unless the county agrees to continue the funding.
And if
Correct.
grant writing is
100%.
part of their job description, I would think that
They can
as
write
the years
grants.
go, that they're gonna be able to pick up and recoup that.
We,
Mm-hmm.
so, years ago, we hired a grant person. And she was pulled out of finance. And we've lost a lot of those duties that she was, we didn't lose the duties, we still have the duties in our office,
cost the person.
but we didn't get any new personnel to take care of that.
Yeah.
So it would be a huge benefit to us if we could utilize this person for for that too.
I-
Because we're picking up, I mean, it's stuff that the auditor's asking us all the time to do that really strains our office.
At the end of the day, we got a home for them, I think.
I think so,
is-
Right,
yeah.
that's what I was about to say. It sounds like David's gonna make it work
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
so.
So the deal is that you'll go back and bring the information back for our next meeting, and then we'll be able to.
And we'll shoot a shot across the bow for budget.
Yeah.
Right.
Guy with the beard last
On whatever she sends, okay.
Okay, so are we good? Any other questions or concerns regarding what we're doing here? Okay, next thing on the agenda is adjournment.
So moved.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are we gonna replace, Judge Blanton?
I meant to ask that because I had asked him if he had suggestion for someone. There was a person who was a drug addiction specialist that name came up from him, and I had been waiting for Matt to get back with me on it, who may be able to fill that, and because that person is involved in that, and
Is involved in what?
not drug court as an employee, but they, as a drug
Addiction treatment.
specialist treatment, they
Addiction
would be
medicine.
aware of it and kind of know.
I think that's gonna be the biggest problem filling the seat we had him for, is that everybody's gonna have a conflict of interest.
So we may have to get someone on the
You
outside.
need somebody that's got familiarity but not currently
County.
serving on somewhere that could benefit funds.
Well, this person is not employed with the county. This person is just a drug addiction specialist that I'm aware of.
That sounds perfect, as long as she's
As a
not
citizen.
working for a company that's gonna apply for these funds, I guess is.
True. That would be like me applying.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you say, well, I could? Is that what you said?
As a person that deals with stuff.
Can I make a comment?
Sure. Well, let me suspend the rules.
We've never been back under them, sure.
We haven't been. Sir?
Yeah, just interject, as a previous business owner, I had over 100 employees. This person that you're going to pick as a coordinator, whoever that may be, is gonna be the most important person in this whole process, let's just be honest. And 18 years is a good length, that's okay, but the point is, you need to be able to get somebody and keep them. So you need to pay them a fair salary, okay, whoever that happens to be. They need to make enough money, but the success of the program is rest on that person, quite honestly, whoever that may be. And I'm 76, so I can't take it, okay, so.
Well, thank you.
I'd be in my mid-90s by then. So, but the point being, it's a really important position. And there again, it may involve whether you're gonna give grants by the year or multi-year grants. Because if you're giving single years or something like that, then they're gonna be needed the whole time.
Yeah.
With multi-year grants, you got a little bit less work to do, but if you're doing single years at a time, it's gonna involve a lot of work for whoever that person happens to be.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't keep my mouth shut, I always have something to say,
You're fine.
so.
No, thank you. So I think that we need to think about that and think about, because it needs to be, I think we need another citizen appointment. At least someone that's involved in the business, but's not gonna, like you say, be applying for money as serving on the board. So, need to think about someone that, sorry?
Can I make a suggestion? You guys in the audience, like, you guys are in this field, so if you know of anybody, not right now, but if you know of anybody, please reach out to Mary. That I know obviously you can't, so I can say that to you. But I think all of us would love to have the experience and the knowledge level that Judge Blanton brought, but obviously totally understand where his
And if you
ethics
know
is.
anybody too, on top of that, that is involved with children and pediatrics and teenagers and all that, because I'd like to see, because we talked about the kids and, we have a super addiction issue with children, not children, but kids and things like that. I'd like to see some of that too.
Or maybe somebody in the mental health field, that could bring a different side to it,
Right. I probably could find somebody like that,
We know some of those people, don't we?
We do, we know a few people.
I am some of those people.
So, okay, sounds great. So think about that, okay? And then we'll come back and
Like a social
revisit.
worker.
A social worker?
Or- Yeah. I mean, we work in mental health
Mm.
and we're prescribers, we're nurse practitioners, but we're not social workers or psychologists, so.
I mean, I know several psychologists. I know people that would be interested, but I think too that there are people out there that in the business that y'all might know. So get back with me, if you don't mind. Anybody else have any concerns, questions? Terry?
I just have a question. When we're talking about additional members, I'd like to talk about maybe the composite of this board also as we go back to budget, which created this committee, as far as terms, because I don't think they address that. And as far as like, are we all rolling off? Are we all here forever? So I'd like to ask budget what their idea, I mean, they've come up with a composite and members, but they didn't address terms, I don't believe.
I think you're right, because it only addressed who the voting members were. Like the commissioners really are only the voting members. Everyone else is advising. And I think that's a really important issue because,
You're not planning to be on this for 18 years?
oh no,
Well-
I told you I was gonna travel.
If I remember right, though, we adopted our regular standing rules for other committees, so this would rotate every year. We did that last meeting.
My concern, and I'll tell you what I am very concerned about this committee because of the amount of work and the things that
Burnout.
we're not burnout, but just the knowledge that we gain. If we, every year,
That
someone
seems
else
very
has to be
quick.
Yeah.
retrained on all this stuff. And I would suggest at least your 2 or your term.
At least
You know.
2 is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, could you have alternating twos?
That was what I was gonna say. That's
Because that way
most
you're holding
beneficial.
some of it, that way the next group is not like, well, we gotta start all over
Yeah,
again.
learn it from
And then
ground
just
zero.
2 and 4s, you mean,
Yeah.
like 2 and 4?
I mean, you could do
Or 2 and
2-year
3s,
terms.
or 2
You could
and
do, you know, just for instance, me and Danny fall off, or me and Dylan fall off the first 2. Well, no, they would be 4-year terms too.
You'd have to start out 4-2, then go 2-2.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Let's
that's
send
a
it back
great-
and task the budget committee that
I like that.
created it.
It's a great idea. Can you add that to the? Thank you for that. That's very important.
That's a good thought, yeah.
And it goes to committee on committee. Will it go to committee on committee? Yeah,
I would
they'll-
think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like the other boards do.
If I could address legal on that the way they created this board was different. As far
It's
as it going back.
statutory created though.
They, in budget, they said the budget chairman can create the members and pick them. That's what they said in budget. And that's why I'm pointing out it was different. And I don't know if they want to go back and rework that. It seems like it would be cleaner if they would rework that and send it through committee on committee. We have 18 years. I'd like to just clean it up now. I don't know.
Eric, is there something that drives the structure though?
Because it reports to budget or something like that.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
It's
just
like the
asking
education ad hoc.
Right.
if you could figure out.
Yeah, because committee on committee is.
I'm not 100% clear on what it is that you're stuck on.
So we were replaced here by the budget committee, or the budget chairman.
Right.
So when we go to replace people, is it always gonna go back to the budget chairman, or are we gonna go like all the others, like the committee on committee does all our other seating and
Yeah,
memberships?
as it's outlaid now, it would be budget.
And I'm just asking, do we want to address that and make it go like everything else through committee on committees? Or if we just, for the next 18 years, we'll leave it going through the budget chair in a different pathway?
That's just something that the budget committee needs to discuss.
And that's,
Because it may be they don't want to, the next chairman down the road may not want to be a part, you know, they may feel that it's a committee, ad hoc committee kind of thing, and they may feel like that needs to go through the committee
I
on
see what you're
committees.
saying.
Yeah, just like they do with the board, like the resource authority, all those things. Because it's a pretty significant little committee here, what you're dealing with.
I agree with Commissioner Boyd. If we set this on the front end and say, you know, these folks, these commissioners are a 2-year term or whatever, these community member advocates are 2-year terms, 4-year terms. Everybody's not rolling off at the same time.
I agree.
Like, going back to your point, we don't lose what we've gained.
Yeah, because
With-
it's
with
gonna be an
experience.
education process for whoever comes on here.
Yep.
Or some, so how, we're gonna send this to budget to readdress how they wanna address their assignments
That'll go in November. We'll have to give that in November.
in
right?
November, right?
But
So,
Eric, wasn't it something that statutorily set this committee? And I hate to keep going and spinning wheels again.
I don't recall, but I thought it was budget
I think so.
because of the grant.
Yeah, right. I don't think we can go to a full standing committee. I think it's,
And this is really viewed more as an ad hoc
Right, yeah.
of budget, so that would leave a lot of control within their,
Within budget.
and then if the commission doesn't like the way it's going, then they stir up budget and budget reappoints.
good grief.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Good meeting.
How's Mary?